Hello tarot readers, for those who don't know me, I'm Gaynor Carrillo, tarot reader, medium and author, and I also run the Spiritual Success School. And for those who do know me, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm going to do about the 4 phases of being a tarot reader, becoming a tarot reader, the 4 phases of becoming a tarot reader. So let's go straight to the video. So I believe there's 4 phases, 4 important phases to becoming a tarot reader. So the first stage of becoming a tarot reader is the studies. And that's when we're maybe on blogs, websites, YouTube channels, have books and maybe have some courses. And we're really trying to study the tarot. So we've got our head in a book or we've got video on, but we're just really trying to study the tarot in any way we can. A lot of people do this over a period of time. So they'll start studying and then they'll stop. So they might join a Facebook group and buy a book, and then they may stop after a while and then get back into it on a YouTube course or buying a course and then come off it again, and they may be 1 foot in and 1 foot out for a while because there's no kind of time frame for when you should study. Take it at your own pace, and that's the way some people are supposed to do it, stopping and starting. Now after that there often comes a point where people say, now I'm going to really study the tarot now, this is it, I'm getting into it 100%. And if you get to the point where you really want to study the tarot, then I've got a little tip, and that is to try and just take 1 course or read 1 book or go through 1 YouTube video channel or 1 website at a time. Because one thing that I have seen over the years is that there's so much information available now. It's so easy to find information about the tarot that it can actually be what drowns the tarot reader. You get too much information, and potential tarot readers can often get really lost in so much information. So I recommend you find a good tarot teacher or a good course, like my course for example, Learn Tarot Easy in my skill, or any course you want to take, but just stick with 1 teacher, 1 book, 1 course, 1 thing that you're really drawn to, your vibe's drawn to, until you've learned the tarot. And then you can get all the other information that you know, everything else that you know, you can add that into your box, or you can continue your learning. But I do recommend at the beginning, when you're going to start studying seriously, to just kind of put all the information you know to one side and focus on 1 thing at a time. The other thing though, when it gets the study phase, and I do believe all tarot readers should study, that is a big belief of mine, all tarot readers should study. And if they've not studied, they really should study. I know some people say, oh, I didn't need to study, I was just a natural tarot reader. And I think that's great if you're one of those people. But the people that I've met in my courses over the decades, they've all really needed to also have some kind of tarot base. Because if you're not studying the tarot and you're just going with the flow, you are really open to making mistakes, to kind of going off track, and to picking up some bad habits. But of course, if you don't want to study it, that's fine with you. Everybody do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. But I recommend everybody study. Now, there is something else when it comes to studying. One thing I've found is that in study phase, most of the information stays in the mind. And I've seen this so often, tarot readers who understand the cards, know what they're supposed to say, know what they want to say, completely get it all in the mind, but when it comes to doing a reading and it comes to getting that out, they get stuck there, they go blank, they go completely blank. They know it here, but not here. And that's because that takes us on to the next phase. And the second phase of learning tarot and becoming a tarot reader is the practice. And I say this a lot, practice. We really need to practice the tarot, because studying the tarot, no matter how great it is, it will only be there until we practice. When we're doing readings for ourselves, it can all make sense here. That's great if we're only ever going to read for ourselves. But the practice will help us to express the reading. And often we get stuck with the tarot language, the language of tarot. Because when you're reading tarot, you'll often say words that you wouldn't talk about in your normal day-to-day life. So for example, with the moon card, I might talk about the certain aspects of something that have been hidden. With the moon card, it may show me that somebody's not showing us their full face. Somebody's not showing us what's really going on. They're hiding the 2 faces of the moon. I may also talk about the emotional aspects of the moon, how that cycle can affect us. These are all really great things that I talk about when the moon card comes out. But in my day-to-day life, I would never say that. They're words that I just never say. I never say to somebody, oh yeah, I feel like there's an aspect here that's being hidden. I just won't speak like that in day-to-day life. And yet when it comes into tarot, it makes sense. It makes sense to express yourself in certain ways. And that can only really be learned, that new language can only really be learned if we keep repeating it and if we practice it. So one tip I have for this is to rather record yourself on your phone. So you sit in front of your camera and you're doing your reading, and if it's for you, talk as if you was talking to yourself. But if you're doing a reading for Mary, talk to the camera as if you was doing a reading for Mary, as if Mary was behind that camera. So you can just record yourself on your phone, or if you're not comfortable with recording the whole lot, just record your voice on the phone, although for some people that can be even worse. And if you haven't got a phone at hand, at least sit in front of a mirror and look at the mirror and talk to the mirror as if you was talking to somebody doing the reading. And I know this might sound crazy, but it really does work, because it just gets you used to expressing yourself with the tarot, just used to getting them out. We spend a lot of time often learning, studying the tarot in here, and then even when we go on to the practice side, a lot of us practice on the internet now, you know, message the reading, email the reading, type the reading. So you get into that habit on the day that you do a face-to-face reading or a reading over Zoom or Skype. You may end up just blank because you just don't know how to express yourself, and you don't want to get yourself into that situation. So practice, practice, practice. Practice on all your friends. Say to them, look, I'm practicing tarot. I've just learnt tarot. I'm doing a tarot course. Can I practice with you? Practice on your friends' friends. Practice on your next door neighbour, Bob. Anybody that you can get in front of you to practice on. The more people you practice on, the better. So you want to try and record all your readings, your personal practice readings, just so you get into the habit of talking and looking back and seeing how you can improve. And also you want to try practicing on as many people as you possibly can. And that is so crucial. We don't want to just study and not practice, and we don't want to practice and not study. That is really the perfect combination, is the study and the practice. And all this would lead us to the next phase. And the next phase is experience. This is when we want experience. And this isn't the same as practice. You know, we're not just telling our Auntie Flo, oh, I'm learning the tarot, let me practice on you. Now what we're doing is we've done all the practice and now we want to get experience. So of course we're practicing even still, but we're doing it with a different focus. Now we're trying to get experience. And one thing that I see happen here is a lot of tarot readers go from the practicing tarot with the family and friends and the neighbour Bob, and then they go into the experience mode, but the only way they feel a lot of them can get experience is they go down the free readings road. So they go on social media, they might open an account on social media and say, I'm offering free readings for practice. And what they're really doing, a lot of them, is they've already had the practice, they want experience. And this is kind of crucial, this distinction, because when you go down the free readings for experience route, you're kind of setting out, first of all, this vibe in the universe that you're not valuing what you've studied and you've practiced. So that can kind of go against you, but also you could really burn yourself out. Doing free readings for experience, there is a good way to do it and a not so good way of doing it. The not so good way is offering free readings, free readings, free readings. And what can happen there is you'll attract an audience who only want your services for free. And it'll be very, very rare that a free reader will turn into a paying client in the future. Also, even if you didn't want to go down the paying client route, it will just not give you the experience you was hoping for. You'll find that you'll get burnt out. People will expect readings from you. And also, it's not going to give you the experience you need. So let's say for some reason you've set up your social media and you decide, I'm going to do free readings. I'm going to do free readings. And Mary from Miami contacts you and she says, I want a free reading. So you give Mary the free reading and then she goes. Literally, you never hear or see from her again. That in no way helps you. It doesn't help you gain anything. You don't gain nothing. And if you do that quite a lot, you'll end up burning out because you're not getting nothing for that exchange. So the best way to do free readings, if you want to go down that route, that I've found is to ask for an exchange. First of all, that's so vital. It's not free readings, it's readings for an exchange. And one of the best exchanges is to say, I'm willing to give a reading for a review. Reviews are like gold. They're absolute gold dust. So give a reading for an honest opinion, an honest review. And even if you've just started and you haven't got much set up, say it's a review you're going to use in your social media and your website in the future, even if you haven't got a website yet, because you have that review then with that permission, and that will be gold dust to you, absolutely gold dust if you wanted to ever take your tarot further. But not only is it gold dust for a potential future you as a tarot reader, it's also gold dust for today, because you're getting immediate feedback on how your readings are doing, and that's really going to enhance your experience. So getting that feedback will tell you if you're going in the right direction, how you're connecting to your client, how you're communicating with your client, and how you're getting your overhaul reading done. So it's going to give you real good valuable information, and that's a pretty good exchange. So instead of free readings, try an exchange for a review. The other thing to do as well, if you're going to offer free readings for experience, is to decide why you're doing this. Is it because you want to build your community, or do you just want subs? You know, I'll give you a reading and hope people will sub, hope people will see me. Because you can have a lot of subs, a lot of subscribers, and just be burnt out. Because subscribers don't mean anything unless you're building up a community. And by the way, this is a great chance for me to ask you in my community who's watching this video now to just give me a like and hit subscribe if you like this channel and you want more videos from me. So I'm back to the video. So we don't want just subscribers, we want to build a community. And giving free readings when you feel like it, like, oh, today I'm feeling really inspired, I'm going to do a live on my Facebook at 5 o'clock, for example, or I'm going to do an Instagram live or whatever. If you feel like that because it's coming from you and you want to share with your community how you work as a tarot reader, so you're giving them some kind of sweets to entice them, to show them, to let them experience what kind of tarot reader you are, that can work really well. So maybe it flows from you that you want to connect to your community and you want them to have a taste of what type of tarot reader you are, how you do your tarot, and by giving a free reading every week, every 2 days, or a daily tarot card, or however way you want to set it up, or if it just comes from your heart at that moment, hey, today I felt like pulling this card for my community. That's completely different. That gives a whole different vibe, and that can work. That can work if you're building a community and you're giving them a little taste of how you work. But to just create a social media platform, to open a social media platform and say, free readings, and let's leave it at that, that's just going to completely burn you out and kill any experiences that you may have. You know, the chances of that working are pretty slim. The other way of getting experience without having to go down the social media free readings route, if you didn't want to, is to do maybe something like psychic fairs, mind, body and spirit fairs, all the kind of psychic fairs that happen around your area, or even if you may have to travel a little bit, they can be brilliant. I used to do the psychic fairs many moons ago, and I absolutely loved it, and it was a great way for me to get experience. The other thing you could do is actually attach yourself to some kind of organisation or some kind of charity. And I used to do this quite a bit. Actually, I loved this. And I used to attach myself to charities, and they would get the money and I would get the experience. So I would go around the psychic fairs with them, and I would do fairs for them, and I would do all these like events for them, charity events for them. They was getting money and everybody was winning. The client was paying a bit of money and getting a reading. The charity was earning that money and I was gaining experience, and I didn't have to deal with any of the money part, because that wasn't what I was doing it for. I wanted the experience. And these charities was an ideal way to do that. And there's lots of other ways you can kind of get experience as well. So you don't have to just go down the free readings. In fact, that's the one I least recommend. Everybody to their own. If you want to do free readings, that's up to you. By the way, do what you got to do. Every tarot reader's their own world. So do it your way, whatever feels right for you. But my suggestion is, if you're finding it difficult with the free readings, maybe you want to knock that on the head and start a different vibration where you're building a community, giving them a taste. And if you do the free readings, you're doing it for an exchange that will be valuable information for you. And if you don't want to go down the social media free readings, then go out and get some experience in the fairs, get yourself down with some charities, and think of other creative ways where you can do readings that will be beneficial to you and, above it all, make you feel good. That's what you want to do. You want to get experiences that make you feel good, even before you look at the cards on the table. Just knowing that you're in that environment or knowing that you're in that opportunity just the experience should make you feel good. So remember that. So you've done the studying, you've done the practice, you've got your experience, and now you're ready. And by the way, them 3 phases, from the studying to the practice to the experience, that can be quite a long period of time. This is not something we do in a weekend or in a month. A lot of the time, we need to spend more time on the practice, and we need to spend a lot more time on the experiences, getting experiences. And then we can become the 4th phase, which is a professional tarot reader. So there's 2 ways of being a professional tarot reader. The first way is those that do it for a hobby. And tarot readers that are professional but do it for a hobby mean they've done the study, they've done the practice, they've got their experience, and now they're professional. They treat themselves like professionals, they value their readings, they value their time, they value their clients, they've got their own code of ethics, they know exactly what they're doing. The only thing is they're doing it as a hobby because, for their own reasons, whatever that reason may be, everybody's completely different, they don't charge. They don't charge for the readings. Instead, they're doing it as a hobby, and they're very happy doing it as a hobby. And you'll find that some very, very good professional tarot readers do it as hobbies. And then you've got professional tarot readers that are working tarot readers. And when I say working tarot readers, I mean exactly that. They're working as a tarot reader. So they're paying the working taxes, they're paying all the taxes, they're paying everything they've got to pay, but they're also charging for their service. They're charging for the service because they're paying the taxes, they're paying the government, they're paying everything they've got to pay, and they're charging for the service. So they're the same as a professional tarot reader is doing it for a hobby, but their stakes are slightly higher because they've got certain bills to pay every month, they've got certain taxes to pay every month, and they're obviously treating this as a business, as a job, as a work. So you've got your working tarot readers. Now, both the hobbyist tarot reader and the working tarot reader, they're both professional, and they would have both done the same study, the same practice, the same experience to get to that point. That's what the theory of this is that. So that's kind of the 4 phases of the tarot. And you, wherever you are now, ask yourself, what phase am I in? If you're in the study phase, then remember the tip, try and study with just one teacher, one course, or one blog, one thing at the moment, until you've got a real good handle on the cards, and then you can start adding more influence from other teachers, other books, other courses. Then you don't want to skimp out on the practice mode. You want to practice as much as possible on yourself and on other people. Always have a pack of cards close to hand, and always practice at any moment that you can. If you do want to do readings for other people, because not everybody does want to read for other people, but if you did want to read for other people, then even more important that you record yourself, or you look in the mirror, or you're looking at yourself and you're talking in a proper voice, not just in your mind's voice, but you're talking to the camera as if you was talking to whoever it is you're reading for. So you learn how to express yourself as a tarot reader and get that tarot language going. The 3rd phase of experience, you don't want to confuse the experience with practice. Practice is you're just practicing because you don't know what you're doing, because you've just studied and this is your learning. Experience is the next step. Experience is saying, I'm not doing this to practice the 9 of Cups or to practice what the Devil card means. I'm doing this to get the experience of giving an overall reading to clients. And you want to do that in a way that will rather make you feel really good, or make you feel really good and build the community at the same time. Also, knowing where you want to take your tarot in the future will help you a lot when it comes to the experience phase. Because if you know in the future you want to work as a tarot reader, you want to charge for your service, and you want to build up a tarot business, then free readings is going to be a killer for you, because it's very, very rare that when you're just giving free readings for no exchange and no reason, them clients are going to turn into paying clients. Very rare. You can have 1,000 followers, but if they're only following you because you're doing free readings and you're asking nothing in return, the moment you start charging, those 1,000 followers won't become your clients. They won't become your clients. So you want to have the end result, what you're actually aiming for, when you begin getting your experience as well. That will be quite helpful. And the fourth phase is when you've had all that experience, you've been doing it now for a long time, you know how to do a reading with your eyes closed, partially, and now you want to be a professional tarot reader. Then the next thing you have to decide is, do you want to charge, or do you want to do it as a hobby? Because if you want to do it as a hobby, then go ahead and do it as professional as you can, and you have a good time doing it. But if you want to do this as a job and you want to earn money for it, and you want to work as a tarot reader, then you have to have a plan in mind. You have to have focus, and you have to decide how you're going to do that. And this is a really good opportunity for me just to remind you that I'm also a tarot coach, and I do tarot coaching for professional tarot readers. So if you wanted to learn how to become a professional tarot reader and a working tarot reader, then you can just check out my coaching below in the description. I'll leave it below in the description. So I hope you enjoyed these 4 phases. Let me know in the comments where you are in these 4 phases. Are you just studying now? Are you in the study phase? Are you in the practice phase? Or are you doing both of these phases together, where you're studying and you're practicing simultaneously? Let me know in the comments where you are. And thank you for watching. And thank you for what. I'm so hot. I'm gonna melt. I'm just melting. I really am so hot. Thank you for watching this video, and hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.